Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we are going to be looking at the 2024 presidential election, but with a twist. So, I did not want to be doing this video, it didn't really come to my mind, but someone recently got vaccinated and they were a viewer of the channel, and they told me that they wanted to see this video be done. So, since I'm a man of my word, I'm going to do this video, but yeah, I guess that's the introduction. Disclaimer, this is not a serious video. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have figured that out by now, but, this is not an actual 2024 election prediction. And as you can see, both these parties are made up. So Purple Political Talk is a member of the Purple Political Party, and he is purple. That's a tongue twister. I always stumble over those words. So Purple Political Party versus the Blue Party, which, not the Democratic Party, even though they are blue in America, just because blue is my favorite color. So, yeah. Now, I guess we'll get right into it with our safe states for me. So I'm from California. I think I'd win that pretty safely. That's my home state. Washington, I think I'd win that as well because I'd get hopefully some bit of a hometown boost as I'm from Seattle. Now, Oregon, I don't really... I think I've only been to Oregon like once, but it would be weird to have it be likely in between safe Washington and California. It would look like something right out of a Red Eagle video, so we're not going to be doing that today. Hawaii, I've been there as well, so I think I'd win that. Illinois, my mom was born in Chicago, so, maybe she could campaign for me. She's probably pretty popular there. New York, my dad is from Buffalo, New York, so I think he would help me out there, hopefully. Let us see, what else do we have? New England, I think I do pretty well in New England, just because I think I've been there more than he has. I'm not sure. Yeah, Vermont as well would be safe. And then Maine's no, not the second. The first district of Maine, I think I'd win safe. So yeah, 151 electoral votes safe for me. For Purple Political Talk, I think he would carry the state of Utah and Idaho. He'd win those pretty safely. He'd also carry Wyoming, which is unfortunate because the state doesn't exist, and I think we all know that, but I've been a big truther about this, and I've been telling you guys for months that Wyoming doesn't exist, and, the government wouldn't want it to be like they'd vote for me because it would look weird, right? Because why would the people, with air quotes, vote for me when I say they don't even exist, right? It doesn't make a ton of sense. So I think Wyoming, again, air quotes, would go for Political Talk, but we all know it's not a real state, and even he knows, he just won't admit it. The Dakotas going for Political Talk pretty safely. Of Nebraska, South the 2nd District, which is competitive. We'll talk about that later. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Tennessee, I think would all be safe for Political Talk. Now, he's from Florida, so I think he'd win that pretty easily, similar with me in California. Texas, he'd do well there. It's pretty... Texas is culturally way closer to Florida than it is to California, and he would just, I think, have better appeal to Texans than I would. The South, he's from the American South. I am not from the American South, so he'd probably do much better in the South than I would, carrying South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, I left blank just for now because they're more competitive than the rest of those states, and yeah. I also think that he'd carry Kentucky, West Virginia, and yeah, I think he'd carry those states safe as well. Now, for our likely unbiased election prediction states, let's see, what do we have here? I think Minnesota, I do pretty well in Minnesota, probably because I think it's a cool state and because I would try to run a more pro-working class campaign, and just generally speaking, I feel like I'd be more appealing to working class voters. I think my policies are a little more populist and a little more pro-labor unions, but just throwing stuff out here. I think with Michigan likely as well because my grandparents they have a house in Michigan and they are from Michigan, so I think I would do well there because my grandparents, they're pretty nice people. They'd probably be pretty popular in Michigan if they campaign for me. So Michigan, I'd probably win it by like 10 or something. Not safe, but likely. What else do we have? New Hampshire, I think I'd win New Hampshire. Maine at large, I'd win Maine at large. New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland, I believe I would do fairly well in those places. DC, I was actually no, that would be safe because I was there recently, so I'd obviously be doing very well there. So yeah, those are our likely states for me. For political talk, I think that he would do quite well in areas like Arizona. I think Arizona would be a state that he'd carry, mostly because he'd probably better appeal to suburban voters in Maricopa County than I would, and because I think he'd do better with me, better than me with Hispanics in the state. So that would probably hand him the victory in Arizona. Alaska's another one. I think he'd carry Alaska by a pretty good margin. So that is two likely states for him. North Carolina would also. Whoops. Where did my mouse go? North Carolina is another state I think he'd win by a pretty solid margin. It would probably be, maybe like a 7 to 8 point victory there for him. He'd probably do better just in the suburbs than I would, so that would give him the victory there. In Indiana, I believe he'd carry Indiana by a likely margin as well. So, yeah. And I'll just give him Virginia, just for case by a likely margin. I've never been to Virginia. I think I've been to like an airport in Virginia, but he's much closer to it in proximity than I am, and I wouldn't really campaign there. Plus, I don't like hot weather. He lives in Florida, which I'm like, dude, how do you survive? It's like 10,000 degrees outside right now. And he's like, oh yeah, it doesn't really matter. So I wouldn't really want to go to the south as much. So he'd probably win those areas as well. Let's see. Do I have any more likely states for him? No, I guess not. All right. So the lean states, I think that Montana would be lean for me. I have friends who used to live in Montana, and I think it's a pretty cool place. I hope I'd carry it. It would be cool to win Montana. So I'll give myself Montana. I'm also going to give myself Wisconsin and the state of Pennsylvania, which gives me up to 245 electoral votes there. Wisconsin would probably go for me because I like Wisconsin. I think it's, Wisconsin's cool because you have like a lot of mid-sized towns across the state, and it's just a cool place. Pennsylvania is really tight because it's always a super close state, but I think in the end I do well enough in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh to win the state. So give me a Pennsylvania as well, and I think that'll be it for my lean states for pro political talk. He would carry Colorado, New Mexico, and Nevada by lean margins. Now I was originally to have myself winning Nevada, but I just think that I wouldn't do well enough in Clark County to win it, so I'd probably narrowly lose Nevada, which is unfortunate because it's my favorite state, so I'd feel very betrayed, but I'll give it to pro political talk there. Colorado, New Mexico, I haven't been to either of these states, and I think he's been to Colorado before, so I think I'll give him those two states because they vote pretty similarly. Colorado did vote to the left of New Mexico in 2020 by 5%, so we could see, Colorado being, maybe a 2.1 for political talk and a 5.1 for him in New Mexico, but whatever. So, yeah, and I think he'd also carry the state of Georgia by a lean margin, which puts him up to 268 electoral votes, which is very close, dangerously close. He can only, I really can't lose another state if he wins Georgia, which is a very, very competitive state there. But I think he'd carry it. It's really close to Florida, and even though I think I could do well enough in the Atlanta area, it just wouldn't be enough to match the suburbs. Some rural areas, that would maybe be a little stronger for him than for me. So Florida would, I guess him being from the south would really hand him Georgia. Now, I've got a couple tilt states, so I think that I would narrowly win the 2nd District of Maine. This is because, like I said, I think I'd have strength in New England. 2nd District of Maine's a pretty cool place. I have friends who've been there, so I think that they could go there and campaign for me, and I do quite well there, hopefully. Ohio, I think I'd win there as well, which would be really big for me because that's 17 electoral votes that I could not afford to lose. So I do think that I would carry Ohio, and I've also been to Ohio, I think. I think I've been to Columbus, so that would give me an edge there. And I have friends who are from Ohio as well, so they could campaign for me and give me the W there. In Iowa, I don't know why, it just seems like a cool state, and I'd win it, and I think that I would just do really well there. I don't know why, I just would. So yeah, there's one electoral vote left. It is the 2nd District of Nebraska. So if I win it, I get the victory. If Pro Political Talk wins it, it's a tie. So you guys know it's coming. I'll give it to Pro Political Talk. He wins it by a tilt margin. So we tie. I was never gonna have any of us winning. It's a really weird video, but I wasn't gonna have any one of us winning. So the coalitions are pretty wacky. This looks like a 2004 electoral map, if that's possible. In that, you know, we have Iowa and Ohio going blue, I guess, but Virginia and Colorado going red. So it's pretty wacky, but I just thought I'd do this because someone got vaccinated and they wanted me to do this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.